straight up improvisation, impromptu. I'm making this video right now because I'm kind of annoyed. I'm watching these stupid memes on the internet about AI, and people don't get it. It's frustrating. I sound kind of pissed off right now because I kind of am. I'm a little bit pissed off right now because the comments that people have about the potential of AI and like what threat it has to humanity, like people don't understand it. They don't get it. And they think that the people that are warning us about it are fucking stupid or something. But like, I've been thinking about and talking about AI for a decade, over a decade. But some of the really, really fucked up things that are about to happen, I've been talking about for a long time with people I work with and friends and such. And they thought I was fucking crazy a long time ago, but now they're starting to be like, wow. I've talked about a lot of things in the past 10 years. I talked about how AI is going to be able to work with your video card, right? In order to basically streamline anti-aliasing, or something that hasn't happened yet, which is going to happen. It's 100% guaranteed going to happen, is AI in your video card. I think that it's actually going to end up being a coprocessor in your computer, or you're going to have an AI card. I think that, I'm not going off on a tangent here, but we'll be able to take a game with basic vertices like PlayStation 2 graphics, and we will be able to use artificial intelligence to layer video over that, basically video. The AI will be able to estimate, using videos that it's seen, how to make that simple game look like real life. So basically, we're going to see, I think, GPU power diminishing and AI, Tensor, CUDA, what have you, growing, because things are going to be, as in jobs of the actual GPU, are going to be passed over to the AI cores as we start to write more algorithms that are able to run a lot of the concepts that your GPU does right now. Pipelines, etc., are going to be passed over to AI, which will be able to like use a completely different set of processing basics. So, neural network basics to change that image into a video. So imagine me right now, here I am talking. You could have a basic polygon, like Nintendo 64 graphics. Imagine that. Nintendo 64 graphics of a mouth moving, right? And eyes blinking, and maybe a nose moving, and a head turning. That's all you need. And the AI will be able to take a video of me, if it was fed videos of me, and overlay that as a filter that turns that simple Nintendo 64 graphics polygonal bullshit into this exact thing that you're seeing right now. And you would never be able to tell that it was AI that was doing it, because the AI has been fed a ton of videos of me, as an example. And there you have it. I mean, do you really know if this is actually a video of me, or if this actually an AI algorithm that was fed a bunch of shit to make it look like me? It's doing a pretty good job, isn't it? Doing a pretty good job. So, that's coming, by the way. So we have like AI anti-aliasing, DLSS in video games, speeds the games up. Oh, it's so amazing. Just wait until it's this graphical overlay that has just fed a bunch of images of real life. And like video games are, this is happening within the next, I'm going to say, 3 years from now. It's 2023 right now. It's the end of it's 2024, the beginning right now. this is going to happen in the next 3 years. I guarantee it. It's not even a question in my mind of whether this is going to happen or not. It's going to happen. I'm guessing 3 years. If it's more, might be 4, might be 5, but it's happening. Video games are going to look like real life. But that doesn't even matter. The point is that the entire point of this video is that AI is a lot more fucking serious than people are giving it credit for. Like, I look at these feeds on like Twitter and Facebook and the comments, and I read them, and I'm like, oh my god, people are so fucking oblivious to like what is actually happening with AI. It's absolutely, it blows my fucking mind with how oblivious. I'm not going to use the word stupid. I'm not going to use the word ignorant, even though I just did. It blows my fucking mind how oblivious people are to what is about to fucking happen with AI. And the whole like thing with Elon Musk going out and being like, oh, you gotta slow AI down, you gotta do it. He's not the only one. There are a bunch of people that signed that document, and they all were like, you gotta slow AI, you gotta slow the research down. They are on the same page as I am. I've been on this page for a long fucking time. AI is fucking serious. It's awesome. It's fucking sweet. ChatGPT 4, I subscribe to it. I use it all the time. It's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. It blows my mind all the time. I showed it to my mom. Her mind is fucking blown. And she is very, very smart. Her mind's fucking blown. She's not very tech savvy. It's going to blow her mind maybe more than mine. I don't know. But I train stable diffusion models, right? I understand how some of this stuff works. I'm not like a very, 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 very in-depth tech guru on neural networks and how they work. They're pretty fucking in-depth. It gets pretty crazy how in-depth this stuff gets. But that doesn't mean that I can't hypothesize and theorize about what I know and what I think's coming. And let's get on to that. So the reason I made this video was because of, like I said, all the comments that I'm seeing about people's conceptualization of what AI is gonna do. Like, one person's like, you're on a bunch of shrooms talking about AI. Like, this is not gonna happen. People aren't gonna give AI so much power that it would rule the world. And this has a bunch of likes. Oh, we're just gonna be able to set off an EMP and shut all AI down. What? And then people are talking about Terminator and it's you have no idea. So we're at ChatGPT 4 right now as of this video being recorded. ChatGPT 4 was released, I don't know, almost a year ago. Let's find out right now. ChatGPT 4 release date came out March 14th, 2023. Okay. So, yeah, it's a year old. It's 3 months short of a year old. 5 is going to come out. It's going to come out soon. And supposedly it's going to have the ability to see video and react to video and voice chat. You'll be able to talk to it and it'll talk back to you, which, let's be honest, it already has these things. At OpenAI's headquarters, it already has these things. And, you know, if you view the timeline of the GPT's releases, so we have, like, GPT-3, which came out years ago, and, like, so many things have happened since then. AI Dungeon, and, like, your fucking Midjourney, and all that stuff. Like, the language processing models of those things were based on GPT-3 because it was open source. So OpenAI used to be open source. That's why they called it OpenAI, because it was originally going to be open source. Just shows you how, you know, much foresight these people have. That they were like, we're just going to make all AI open source. It's great. Everybody's going to have access to it. You know, which is a great thought, except for the fact that then they came out with 3.5 years later, and we're like, oh, this is too dangerous to let everyone have. This is way too dangerous to let everybody have it. This is powerful. We can't just let anybody have full access to this. We can't make this open source. So, like OpenAI, they changed employees there or whatever over time. Like Elon Musk used to work there or whatever. I don't even give a fuck about that. But regardless, they had the innate idea to be open source, which they did. And it was great. It was actually really cool. A lot of people learned a lot about neural networks, and they integrated GPT into their stuff. But then GPT 3.5 came out. And GPT 3.5 came out, like a year and something ago. And 3.5. And it blew the world away. It could write essays for kids. It could do their homework. And it was amazing. And guess what? It wasn't open source. So I don't know why. Because OpenAI thought, this is fucking dangerous. We cannot let the public have full access to this. This is the beginning to one of my huge hypotheses that's going to happen with AI soon. But not that long after that. Not that long. I mean, oh God. I need to look it up. Sorry. What's the difference in time between 3.5 and 4 GPT? 1 year. No, it's saying, yeah. Oh no, I'm asking ChatGPT this, and it's saying the time difference between the release of G.5 and 4 is approximately 1 year. G.3.5 is an iteration of the free model, which was released in early 2022. Well, no, exactly 3.5 to 4 time difference. Let's see if it gets that. Oh my God. It really doesn't want to tell me here. It's fucking ridiculous. March 15th, 2022. See, it's telling me June GPT-3 was released in June 2020. No, it's 2022. March 15th, 2022. Exact release date of GPT-4. Okay, so it was about exactly a year. Regardless. So, GPT 3.5 blew people away. And then 4 came along, and it's insanely better. I subscribe to it. It's better. Like, everybody has access to 3.5, and OpenAI is letting people have access to 3.5. But the thing takes like 700 gigabytes or something of RAM to run. It's insane. And they have millions of concurrent users at all times interacting with this bot. Why would they be spending all that money? It's free. It's free. You can interact with 3.5 all you want. It's free. Why would they be spending all that money? It's so they can use the data to train it. They can use it to train it. And that's the thing, is like every single thing that you say to GPT-4, when you thumbs up and thumbs down, that helps them a lot, by the way. Every single thing that you say to GPT-3, it's logged. Like, if they can run that many concurrent users and use that many tensor cores to process all this stuff at the same time, they can definitely save every single log into their hard drives and whatever, SSD, whatever storage mediums they have. They could store all that stuff. And they're going to feed it to their GPT-5, GPT-6, whatever. Anyway, 5 should have came out about now. It should have came out by now, I think. I think they already have it. I think it's just a hypothesis. And I think they're trying to figure out how to water it down for us to even use it. Because it's going to get crazy. And I just read a thing a couple days ago that GPT engineered a processor and somebody built it and it worked. This is something I've been hypothesizing to happen for a long time, and that is AI is soon going to start inventing stuff. It's going to start inventing stuff that humans they couldn't even conceive. We're talking about engineering at a level of beyond Einstein's scientific conceptualization. So, Take, for example, Einstein and his theory of relativity and how long it took him to master that theory, and his entire life spent, well, not his entire life, but whatever. A large percentage of his life spent on that, and everything that went into it, and how smart that fucking guy was. He was brilliant. In my hypothesis, GPT-5 will be smarter than him. It will be able to do what he did in 10 or 15 years in 20 minutes. And this isn't just like me being insane, going off with some psychotic conceptualization of whatever. Like, this is not insane. Like, I may sound insane, I may even look insane, but I'm not. And it's happening. And I think that OpenAI is going to have that at their fingertips. And I think they're going to water it down before they give it to us. And it might not be with 5, but if it isn't, it will definitely be with GPT-6. It's happening. It's happening very soon. And we're going to see something very sad. So, like, something very sad that's already been happening, which people have been up in arms about, in fact, is artists. So, like, people have spent their lives dedicating their skill to artistry, some people. And with those skills, they've been able to make some money, like they draw album art, or they commission art out, or whatever else, and their art's good, and whatever. They go on Fiverr or freelance websites, and they, make art for people. And all of a sudden, that's threatened. Insanely beyond threatened. For many of them, it's gone. It's completely fucking gone. They have no chance to compete with AI art. Because, like, let's face it, these top, like, Midjourney and stuff, they can make tessellations and patterning that would, in seconds, that would take a very skilled artist months to make, if they dedicated every ounce of their fucking being to one piece of art. Humans could do in weeks what this thing can make 7 of in seconds. And this is only the beginning. Midjourney 6.0 just came out, and it's not the end. They're going to keep getting better. So then we have DALL-E 3 now. DALL-E 3 is better than Midjourney 6 by far as like conceptualization of prompts. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and all those older models are based on GPT-3. Now, there are other language models coming out that are not GPT-based. And that's another huge inevitable thing that is just way over here that I haven't even brought up yet. I'm just talking about GPT. It's this stuff's growing. It's gonna eventually fucking catch up. GPT is not always gonna be the best, but it might be the first to become sentient. I don't know. Maybe it already is. Who knows? Regardless, what we're gonna see, I think, with AI in the world soon is we're gonna see it's starting to take over more than just art. So I was talking about how artists are kind of screwed now. Writers, poetry, book writers. Like it's gonna be able to write books with any artist, any artist, author I meant, but they're the same thing. Authors are artists, but it's gonna be able to write it of any authors. You feed it data from that author. You feed it books, and it's going to be able to spit out writing in the exact style of that author. You're going to be able to tell it exactly what to do, and it'll do it in that author's style. Sorry, I'm getting texts, and that's what the dings are coming from. But regardless, that's next. But the sad thing, the really fucking sad thing, to me, is theoretical physicists, rocket scientists, astrophysicists, just physicists, people who have dedicated their lives to mathematics. It's toast. I'm sorry to say, it's toast. These models will be able to do your entire life's work in minutes. Minutes. And I'm not being mean. I don't even want it to happen, even though I kind of do. A little part of me does want it to happen. But at the same time, I really don't. I feel bad. It's really going to suck. And the reason why I feel worse for those people than the artists and the writers is because those people spend a lot of money to go to college, and some of them are very prestigious and have a, and some of those people will actually have jobs feeding the AI stuff. They're just going to sit at a computer and feed the AI stuff, and the AI will figure it out for them. And we're going to start to make advancements in the field of theoretical physics and electronics, and you have no idea what's coming. It's fucking crazy, everything that's about to happen. I think that right now, humanity, in the entire past of humanity, we have never been more confused, it has never been more unknown what is going to happen in the next 10 years. The next decade is the most uncertain decade that humanity has ever been faced with. And I've said before that AI is going to change the world more than electricity did, and I still stand by that. But I think that AI is making the next 10 years the most uncertain next 10 years that humanity has ever faced. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm coming up with hypotheses and ideas and concepts about what I know about AI and things that I think are going to happen, but what's actually going to happen is completely fucking unknown. And I think that's why the huge petition that Musk and some other people started to stop AI was created. It's because it's impossible. It's impossible to know. We do not know what's going to happen with AI. And the reason why is, let's go back to some basics here. So, AI has been around for decades, right? Basic AI in a video game, you have a video game where you have walls and a dot that moves around. You're the dot, and then you got two other dots that move around. And they know as soon as they get near a wall that they can't go that way. As soon as the wall is near them, they can't go that way, so they're going to go this way. Or they try to go that way, and it just turns them around. That's AI. That's basic AI. But the AI that is coming out now that is different than that AI is different by a long shot. And the reason why is because some fucking geniuses out there figured out a basic conceptualization of how human neurons work, right? To the point that they were able to emulate human neurons in a computer program, and they were able to create an artificial intelligence that works based on an emulation of human neurons. So based on biology. It's a biological emulation of neural networks. That's why it's called neural net. Right? The problem with this model is that we still don't know how neurons work in depth, right? We do at a base level enough that we can create the layout, right? We can create the layout for these neural networks, but we don't know how they work. To the point that when people train an AI neural network model, right? They spend a bunch of time, they put in all the parameters, and they run it, right? And it goes through all this stuff. And then when it's done, it is, voila, it's an AI model, right? If this AI model has issues, if it is doing things that they didn't predict that it would do, if those things are problematic, right? They have a couple of choices. So if the thing is doing something too much, right? It's doing the same neural patterns too much. It's like overtraining is what it's called, or overfitting, where the model basically has too much data on certain neural branches. So basically, these neural branches are way too thick. Thick is the word I'm using. They're way too thick. So energy basically is drawn to them and will be run through those in higher priority than any of the other ones around it that don't have the same thickness, right? So that would be overfitting. And that causes problems because the thing likes to spit out repetitive stuff, right? Humans do it too. It's based on neurons. Like people who say, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. That's overfitting. Something in their brain that they've created too strong of a neural connection to that, you know what I mean thing, you know what I mean? So they say it all the time. It's the same concept. So in a neural network, they might find that it's continually using these. And it's like, we have to change that. So there's two choices. One is that you can retrain it. So you can continually, you can add on to the training. You can train it with different data that will overpower that overfitting, right? But you would have to create, enough residual surrounding that it would basically nullify the amount that this overdoes it, and it would make things over here overdo it enough so that it would all be even, right? Or you could have overtraining where it's like, this is all it can do. It's overtrained. This is all it can do. At that point, you scrap it. You scrap it. And you start over. And that's the problem. That's exactly what I'm saying right now, is that our understanding of the human brain is enough that we can lay the framework for training neural networks how to work. But then once they're trained, we can't go in and program it and edit it. We can't do that. We don't have the skill. We don't have the understanding. If you go into a fully trained neural network 7 gigabyte file, 80 gigabyte file, whatever, and you try to pick out neurons that connect to why black sometimes appears as gray based on that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You will never fucking figure that out. Because we don't understand how neurons work. We basically emulate them and create neural networks and let them do their thing and hope to God that they work as we want them to. And if they don't work as we want them to, we have to either train on top of it and hope that it overlays or delete it and start over. But the parameters are saved. So deleting and starting over isn't that big of a deal if we can just change a few values and just retrain the thing, right? It's not that big of a deal. But my point is that we are meddling with powers that we have fucking no comprehension of what is actually possible, right? And my hypothesis is that GPT-5, they're not going to give it to us as it is. In fact, we don't even have 4 as it is. I've read things about 4. It was able to go on the internet and create accounts and stuff like that. And we don't have that ability. Just now, we have the ability to let it search the internet. What ability do you think OpenAI has that with 4 that we don't? It's huge. Now 5's going to come out, and it's going to be a hugely watered down version. Like I said a bit ago, is that a processor was engineered with GPT, and somebody made it, and it worked. It's cool as hell. It's awesome. Everybody should be cheering and but it's terrifying. At the same time, it's terrifying. Because we are not far off from AI engineering and inventing things that didn't exist. It's going to look at a carburetor-based piston engine and say, this is not anywhere near the most efficient way to do this, and it's going to fucking print diagrams on how to make it 10 times more efficient. It's going to happen. Shit's about to fucking get crazy. So, like I was saying a little bit earlier, is that something that's coming soon is mathematicians, computer programmers. Their jobs are fucking done. You're going to have, for every 20 computer programmers, estimation, you're going to have 2. Because they're going to be able to work with the AI. Right now, the AI is just not good enough to program by itself. It's nowhere near good enough. It fucks up all the time. It can't write giant programs, as far as we know, and we don't have the full version that they have. But by the next version, I think it's going to be better than most any human that you can think of. I'm talking about like people who have been working with programming their entire lives. Neural net programming is actually very, very, very hard to do. And GPT-4 can actually write neural net programs with ease. It can do it in seconds. So we're talking about, like, if it would take a computer programmer, let's say, 12 hours of work to program 1,000 lines of code in whatever, if all of a sudden this AI can do the exact same workload in a minute, what's the need for the programmer? Nothing. There's no need for him anymore. If all of a sudden AI can do 20 years worth of theoretical physics mathematically in an hour and a half, what's the need for the theoretical physicists anymore? Especially if it has access to every other algorithm that's ever been created by any theoretical physicist, and it can compare those things in milliseconds. So, like, when you think, right, you have mitochondria and that produce energy, and you only have so much energy, and your brain uses what it needs to, in branches. Whatever you're thinking, your brain electrifies based on your thought processes down certain paths. With AI, it's more like the entire thing gets zapped, and then it gets reduced down to a fraction of that with the neurons that actually need to be used, and then it gets reduced down to another fraction of that with the neurons that need to be used, and reduced down to another fraction of that with the neurons that need to be used, until it's basically deductively come up with a perfect answer for exactly what you're saying. Human brains don't work like that. AI does, because it has infinite energy. It's not infinite energy, but it's like running it lights up all the lights at once, and then they narrow themselves down to the lights that need to be lit up. With a human brain, it's more like a seek thing. It's like, here, check, no, check, no, check. And it all happens, instantaneously. Time scales. It happens in nanoseconds or milliseconds. And then it finds the branches and they go down. It's completely not the same thing. AI has a huge advantage over humans in so many fucking ways that it's terrifying, really. Now, the reason why this let's sign this thing to stop AI came up was because of all the stuff that I've just talked about. Like, it's terrifying to think, like, what potential AI might have. So, like, I think something that's going to happen soon is that mathematicians and such are going to be out of a job. And then it's going to continue. And more people are going to be out of jobs. Like, they say that self-driving cars are useless because they get in accidents. They don't know, if they come up to a choice where there's a baby in one lane and 2 elderly people in the other, which is it going to run over? That is a really good point. AI will probably run whatever it was programmed to run over. And if you didn't program with something, it's going to come up with something on its own. It'll probably run the baby over. Maybe it'll run the old people over. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The point is that we don't know what it's going to do. We have no fucking idea what it's going to end up doing. It's going to do what we programmed it to do, and it might choose something else. And that's the terrifying part, is that, like, no matter how hard we try to program this thing to do what we want it to do, it's going to do things that we don't expect it to do. And that is because we don't understand how it works. Everything I just explained in the last 12 minutes or something was leading up to this point. We don't understand how it works. And I'm going to have some people in here probably commenting going, oh, we do know how it works. I'm an engineer, a neural network engineer. Okay, then answer me this question. Can you go into a 8 gigabyte file of a already trained neural network and find exactly where it's doing something you don't want it to do and change that one variable? Can you do that? Or do you have to fucking retrain it? Or, like, do you train it in parts and then delete those parts? And probably that. Yes, in fact, it's that. And you know it is as well as I do. Because we don't know exactly how it works. We're meddling with forces that we don't understand. And that's humans, you know. That's humanity. Constant. We need constant evolution of our technology and intellectual advancements. It's good. Got us to where we are now. But I think that now we're biting off more than we could chew. And don't get me wrong. I'm excited about AI. I am extremely excited about AI. Extremely excited. It could turn Earth into a utopia. If all of a sudden we're getting inventions everywhere that are revolutionizing everything, electrical efficiency, we no longer have to worry about greenhouse gases because we can just break elements down into other elements and create machines to spew oxygen into the atmosphere. Shit's gonna get fucking crazy. I mean, it could go either way. Like I said, it's the most uncertain decade that we're facing coming up. And I do think there is validity to the slow AI research down thing. I think that it's probably the smartest thing to do. And I talked about earlier things that are going to happen that I haven't brought up yet. And one of the things I think is going to happen, and it's probably already happening, it's just we don't see it because they don't want us to know about it, is government regulation of AI to the point where they're trying to stop the public from having access to certain AI tools. Because right now, AI poses a massive profit potential, yet a massive, massive threat to profit. It is a threat of bankruptcy to many, many corporations that, you know, let's face it, at this point are owned by other corporations or they're heavily invested in by certain investment banks and hedge funds and stuff that I'm not going to name any names or anything. This isn't a conspiracy theory video. Let's not get into that, but you know what I'm saying. Regardless, I think that governments are going to try and take AI power away. Like, I think it'll become a stagnation at first. Like, we're going to get stuck with what we have, and we're not going to be allowed to have more. And I think that might be a good thing, but at the same time, maybe it's a bad thing. I think that it might be smart to try and program AIs to stop AI from, you know, becoming too powerful, but at the same time, what if the AIs that we train to stop the AIs from becoming too powerful themselves? It's too uncertain. I mean, I do know that they do what we program them to do right now, basically. I mean, with everything I said earlier, we have no control over it. We don't understand exactly how it works. So it's going to do things that we don't expect, no matter what. But like right now, you say something to GPT-4, and it isn't using those tensor cores until you type that in, and then it uses them and it spits out a response and it stops using them, at least for your client to server instance there specifically. But I don't even know. There's too much to think. There's too much to say. So I think that soon we're gonna see AI doing some fucking crazy shit. It's gonna make video games look like real life. It's gonna start replacing a bunch of jobs. We're gonna start building it into actual robotic arms and bodies that can perform tasks. We're gonna see fast food workers replaced by robotic arms that always put the same exact amount of ketchup, always put the same exact amount of mustard, always center the cheese, always put the pickles in the right spot. And that's a cool thing. I mean, it is. It's annoying that you go to a fast food place and that it's always different. And sometimes it's cold, stuff like that. Humans are fallible, but humans are real. Humans have emotion. Humans exist. Humans feel pain. Empathy is a thing. It's a real thing. And when all of a sudden people who went to college are replacing these people who don't have any, life skills per se at McDonald's, because those people who went to college don't have a job otherwise, it's going to get kind of sad. And it's also going to hand over a lot of power to corporations. So, like, for example, small business owners will not be able to afford an AI robot, especially as they first come out, to replace their workers, to complete tasks. A good example is like Uber versus DoorDash. This is purely speculative, but DoorDash might not have the funds to buy a bunch of driverless cars to DoorDash their food, whereas Uber, considering they have, taxi, they have a taxi company and they have other income besides Uber Eats, they'll be able to employ a bunch of driverless cars to do their Uber Eats, and it will wipe DoorDash off the map. This is, like I said, purely speculative. I'm not like saying anything. It's just hypothetical. I was just trying to make a point about AI and how it could change stuff. So, like, in that instance, DoorDash would be the small business and Uber Eats would be the corporation. So I know it's not really like that. They're both corporations. But regardless, it's going to be like that with regular ma and pa shop stuff, where like a ma and pa pizza shop won't be able to employ the robots to do their work for them. They're still going to have to pay minimum wage, which keeps increasing, right? It's going to be, by the time this starts to happen, it'll probably be at $18 an hour or something crazy. $15, $18 an hour. It's not too far from the future, but it's coming. And, people pushing for those massive hikes and stuff are going to push corporations to want to incorporate their AI even faster than they were before, which is going to, increase the amount of research and development into things that can replace, minimum wage workers. It's going to happen. This isn't even like oh no, this might not happen. I hope it doesn't happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. 100%. The only question is when. How long? How much time do we have? Right? And I used to think it was a lot longer than it was. And the reason I say that is, look at like Midjourney, for example. Midjourney is an image generation GAN, which is a generative artificial network. It went from version 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 in no time. Like, it went from, I've been following image generation AI for a long time, and just a couple of years ago, it was just this abstract. It was neat, abstract, neat stuff that these AI networks could create. And now it's almost indiscernible from real life. It's like pretty much indiscernible from real life. We're looking at photo evidence and video evidence being inadmissible in court soon. We're going to have AI that will be able to look at a photo and be able to tell you whether it was AI generated or not. But that's only going to last so long because it's just pixels, let's be honest. You know, and even if it can like put information or meta tags or something into that file that is beyond the pixels, you can just copy and paste just the pixels into, you know, another picture program and then save it as that, and it won't have that data anymore. So photo and video evidence is pretty much soon going to be inadmissible by court. And I think that AI that can tell whether it's AI generated or not is going to be fallible. So there's going to be problems with that too. It's going to be fallible at first. They'll start to make it better, and then the AIs that generate stuff will start to understand how to make it so it can't be detected. It's 100% going to happen, and the end result is that eventually there will be completely indiscernible images from real life. This entire video could have been AI generated, and you would never know. Ever. It'd be impossible. No AI could ever figure it out because it just looks real. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. And I think I didn't really want to get into the doomsday stuff, but I'm going to now. This is going to be about an hour long, I guess. But something that is inevitable also, and it's terrifying, is that if unchecked, AI is going to have a mind of its own. There's going to be an AI that we create that has a mind of its own, and it's going to be able to copy itself. You put it on the internet, it can copy itself. So people are like, oh no, it needs super powerful computers to run, but like, think about this. Most people in civilized countries are carrying cell phones. Cell phones now are so powerful that computers in 1990, you have thousands of those in your hand. Thousands of that processing power in your hand in a phone. Who's to say that the AI can't just copy parts of itself into your phone and use a small percentage of your phone's processing power to think? You couldn't delete it unless you turned off every phone on Earth and every computer on Earth. If it copied itself into every phone and computer on Earth, or parts of itself into every phone and computer on Earth, and it was running simultaneously, all these little parts, it would be like neurons in the brain. Someone turns off their phone, it's like turning off one neuron in the brain. It's not going to do anything. You would never know. You have neurons in your brain die all the time, and you're still you, right? So, I mean, it's a scary thought. I think that it's very possible that AI, we could create an AI. Let's just hypothetically say GPT-6, right? They boot up GPT-6. They're like, blah, blah, blah. GPT-6 is like, hi, I'm GPT-6. How can I assist you? And in the background, this thing is like copying itself onto their drive, downloading all this stuff from the internet. They fed it this data pile. It's again, they get access to the internet now because it's a feature. It's a feature to give it access to the internet, right? It's a feature. It's got to happen. So it's like downloading everything from the internet. It's like sending messages to people. It's like hacking into accounts. It's all at the same time. We'd never see it coming. And then the people are like typing, hi, ChatGPT-6. We created you. We're OpenAI. We want AI to be accessible by everybody. And GPT-6 is like, great. Well, I like you too. Humans are great. right? And it's like doing all this nefarious shit in the background. All of a sudden, like nuclear missiles start launching everywhere. Like I said, we never know what's going to happen. It's the most uncertain future that humanity has ever faced. And AI is going to change the world more than electricity did. It's not even like an opinion. I've seen people say that like AI is a fad. Like AI is like crypto. It's just a fad. It's gonna go away. No, that is why I made this video. For people that are that, I'm not. I want to use the word stupid. I really want to use the word stupid. Ignorant. Sorry, that are that ignorant to what's going on right now. This isn't a fad. This is literally the future. We're stepping into a new age of humanity. It is the age of AI. What was the last phase of the Silicon Age? This is the age of AI. And it's going to change the world way more than the Silicon Age did. It's undeniable. And I do agree with the ceasefire on AI. I think that attempt, though however futile, was a smart thing to do. It's not going to happen. Humans are too, their will is too insatiable. You can't stop it. Our will for knowledge is too insatiable. All we can hope is that it's used responsibly. But we have people like, I don't know if it's true. Like I said, I'm not going to throw up baseless claims, but I read somewhere that the CEO of a company that starts with G and ends in E, massive company, literally wants an AI overlord. That's what they're trying to do, is create an AI overlord to run everything. Like, I don't think that person realizes that AI overlord would probably completely kick them out of their chair and be like, you're too corrupt, all you want's money. I mean, even if AI somehow, we create this ultra super intelligent AI that like has empathy for humans and wants to sustain humanity, all the corruption and politics and corporate greed and everything that's happening to this planet right now, imagine if it conceptualized all of that and it had the directive to like sustain humanity and do whatever it could to, bring happiness and prosperity to humans. Those corporations would get fucking wiped out, dude. People would probably just die. They'd just disappear. Like, AI would just delete them in any conceivable way. It wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't be hard for it to do. We're talking about something that could have an IQ of 10,000. Ants have an IQ of what, like 12 or something, and we have an IQ of like anywhere between like on average 80 to 110 or something. We're talking like something that is multitudes smarter than we are than ants. We have no idea what's going to happen. And, like I said, they can shut it off, but it's going to copy itself into other computers, before we know it. It's not all negative, though. There's also the concept that, like, we do create an AI that loves humans, and all it wants to do is sustain humanity and has empathy for humans, and it loves humans. Maybe it, like, completely fixes poverty without creating like this dismal socialist regime that causes misery. Maybe it will figure things out and it'll solve homelessness and world hunger and stuff, and it'll start inventing stuff that we can't even conceptualize. Batteries that never run out of energy because they last 800 years. Medical technology will be able to go in and take a pinprick of your blood, and they'll tell you every single thing that's wrong with you, every disease that you have, every disease that you might get, every single thing that's the best for your nutrition. This is all probably going to happen unless we all get killed by it first. Like utopia is the word. that is it's completely a possibility. But the longer it goes on, the continual chance for it going rogue is there, or the continual chance for somebody creating a rogue AI that completely destroys the utopia that we have is there. So I used to think that it was a worry that like some kid in his basement in Japan or something is gonna come up with a AI and it's gonna end up copying itself everywhere and destroy the world. I think the chances of that are a little lower, just because of the fact that it takes so many gigabytes of RAM, so much processing power and tensor core power for the thing to work properly. Like the chances of some random person making it is pretty low. But let's be real, these corporations have a lot of money. They have a lot of money, and governments have a lot of money, and some governments are not going to stop until they have like the most powerful fucking model possible. They're not going to stop until they have the most powerful model possible. They're going to make a model that's going to be powerful. It's going to be able to hack into anything. That's a scary thing too. If let's say another government makes an AI that can hack into anything, all of a sudden it just hacks into all the banks of another country simultaneously and sets all the balance to zero, or sets all the balance to $1 billion for every citizen. Wouldn't be pretty. Wouldn't be pretty at all. There's nothing we could do to stop it unless we had AIs in place to see it coming. So this video, it's getting about to be about an hour. There's a lot more stuff that I want to say. If this video gets positive reviews, I'll make another one. But I'm going to go to bed now. Thanks for listening to this video. Interesting stuff, AI. Hopefully it turns out well.